Before I answer your question, let me just give a slight warning. I come from it barely makes your logo here, the country at the top, Finland. And that might make some of my comments somewhat provocative. I've also only spent 5 years as a banker. Before that, I've come from other industries, mainly telecom and manufacturing industry. So my point of view might be taken somewhat from there as well. Just to give you a few things about the background of Finland, how the banking works there today, to put it in perspective, is that, first of all, I have never in my life used a check in Finland. I've never seen a check in Finland all my life. I started internet banking about 15 years ago. And I moved abroad, then I was told that, what is that? And today I heard a figure that the small and medium-sized enterprises in Italy, I think the small one was 15% have an online connection to the bank, if I got the correct translation. I just sent a text message and said, how much is that in our bank? And basically everybody is offered an online banking connection. So everybody basically should have it. So we're starting from a very different position. And as you see in the World Payments Report, we have the highest number of non-cash transactions in the survey. And then the question of SEPA, which is the question being, do you SEPA? Let me give you an example of today. As of Monday this week, every transaction made from our internet bank, either by the corporates or the households, is a SEPA payment. So for us, it's not an international payment anymore. All domestic payments, if they're originated from the net bank, is SEPA. And so are most of the file transfers we get from our corporate customers. The end date for SEPA in Finland is 7 weeks away from now. We have taken away the national payment systems that we have today in place in less than 12 months. So the question in that region, do we SEPA? Yes, we do. Then the point to the transformation. How is the payments world transforming? And I think a lot of the elements have been mentioned here. I give you a few examples of what we're doing. Number of the products we're coming out with today. Let's take cash forecasting, which in the financial crisis has shown to be very interesting for corporate customers. We don't do that ourselves. We operate with a partner who does it for us, and we take it as part of our offering to our corporate customers. So being able to offer something to our corporate customers doesn't mean that we need to have to do everything ourselves behind it. And in this case, we're explicit about the fact that somebody else does it and provides even the service to it. We also do the e-invoicing is an area where we do a lot of cooperation. We don't believe that we can actually provide the technology fully on our own. And just to give you an example, I mean, this is something which is growing extremely fast now in this region. So instead of introducing SEPA direct debit, we in fact will introduce another solution, which is that corporates use e-invoice. Then as a bank customer, I can tell my bank to automatically pay that invoice when it arrives. I can also say that once I get that invoice, I get a text message into my mobile, and I can respond by pressing A, and the invoice is paid. Basically meaning that if you look at the supply chains and the cycle, how long does it take from the payment to getting your cash, we've counted now that if both the company and the individual has a bank account in our bank, today we are about 30 minutes from sending the invoice to actually having the cash on the account. So talking about liquidity management, this is quite far from the days when 3 days is the time when it takes from between the banks to deliver. So that's what we're doing. And still my comment is that I would argue that in general, we still don't get it. I think we still don't understand what the change really, what is happening in this area. And I'm somewhat referring to my old background in the telecom area. Some of you may remember the old days when we didn't have mobiles. You know these dial things you turn and then, I think most of you do. What happened is when mobile came, it did not only change the way you actually technically are able to take your mobile with you, but it actually changed the whole way the whole industry works. I mean, you see the numbers, you see the person who's calling you, the whole text messaging thing came, and so on. So it actually changed our behavior, how we do things in real life. And I think this is happening very much also in the payments business. Earlier today it was mentioned that payment is starting to be part of, it's treated like communication. And why wouldn't it be? If I look at the generation, let's say 5 to 10 years younger than myself, remember that what they've seen happen is that during the time we've been discussing about SEPA, the whole idea of Facebook was launched, and 500 million people are signed on today. This is during the times that bankers discuss whether we can actually have a common payment system in Europe. So I think we can say that yes, we've done a lot, but still the question coming from the internet and the mobile area is whether somebody gets it or not. And I think there's a lot of people still in the banking industry who don't get it.